Welcome back to the cryptowrld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, Bitcoin is running into this critical area of resistance after further continuing the short-term bullish trend and a short squeeze over the last one day, liquidating a lot of short positions, while the price is now running into overbought territories on this time frame, while Ethereum just perfectly hit my exact bullish price target for this breakout trading opportunity right here. So I'll be talking about all of that and more later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, just before getting into the Bitcoin charts today, we need to talk about the Bitcoin news today, because over the last one day, Michael Saylor just announced that MicroStrategy bought another 18,300 Bitcoin for just over 1.1 billion US dollars. And so obviously this tells us that one of the largest Bitcoin whales in the world, MicroStrategy, is continuing to buy more and more Bitcoin basically anytime they can. No matter what the Bitcoin price is, they are always buying Bitcoin. And of course, with Bitcoin being a scarce asset with a strict limited supply, of course this is bullish. The more that they buy, the less Bitcoin's going to be available to basically be sold on the market. And obviously this is just one company out of many companies out there that are accumulating Bitcoin. And so over the longer term, as this trend continues, this will slowly move the Bitcoin price upwards over the longer term, as more and more of the supply are basically held by these large players buying up a lot of Bitcoin. And this was not the only Bitcoin whale that bought recently, because if we're looking at the Bitcoin ETF flows, we can see that just yesterday on Friday, we saw a massive net inflow, a lot of new money coming into the Bitcoin ETFs buying up Bitcoin. So just over the last one day, just on Friday, we saw a net inflow of over $250 million just on Friday buying Bitcoin. And this was definitely the largest net inflow that we've seen in a long time. In recent weeks, we haven't really seen any major net inflows. Obviously, on Tuesday right here, we did see a net inflow of around 117 million. But other than that, we've seen relatively small net inflows and even some net outflows like what we saw on Wednesday. But once again, on Friday, we saw a net inflow of over 263 million US dollars coming into the Bitcoin ETFs, which is essentially buying Bitcoin. And so with all of these major players with massive amounts of money are continuing to buy Bitcoin, of course, this is resulting in some bullish price action as of recent, pushing the price to the upside, especially with this major inflow just yesterday. And if you want these pieces of news in real time from time to time, I do share this in real time over on my Twitter as soon as it happens. So link down below to my X or Twitter if you want to get these extra updates throughout the day. But with that being said, taking a look at the Bitcoin charts today, this is on the 2-day time frame, and we're continuing the short-term bullish trend during the larger bearish trend. So over the last one day, the trend situation hasn't really changed all that much, because technically we're still seeing larger lower highs and lower lows on these larger time frames. But of course, in the shorter term, zooming into slightly smaller time frames, we can see that we're within a short-term bullish trend, as I've already been saying for the last half a week to nearly 1 week now. And if we're taking a look at this daily Bitcoin chart, as I explained in my last video, before we saw the latest pump in the price of Bitcoin, we are seeing a major bullish signal flash on this chart right here, because we're seeing a decent drop to the downside in the DXY and also lower highs forming in the DXY. So that's a bearish signal for the DXY, which is bullish for Bitcoin. And so obviously over the last one day, we saw that bullish signal play out perfectly with a bullish move in the price of Bitcoin. But as usual, over the weekend, the DXY is closed for trading, so we don't really have any new major updates in the DXY over the last one day. And so if we're taking a look at this daily Bitcoin chart, obviously we're continuing the short-term bullish trend once again, but we are now running into this major area of resistance right here, sitting in between around 60.2k to around 61.2k, so roughly 60 to 61,000. And obviously, as I said, around half a week to nearly 1 week ago, the moment we broke back above around 57,000 and then retested that area to flip it into new support, the moment we confirmed that signal, that was the moment where we're going to flip much more bullish again, as I explained back then at much lower prices. And so back then we were expecting the price to eventually move up towards these next levels of resistance, which we did have a small amount of resistance at around 59,500 based on the volume profile indicator, which obviously the price basically went straight through, but we do have a larger area of resistance right here. once again in between roughly 60 to 61,000, which so far as of recording this video, the price is starting to struggle at. And so I'll not be surprised if we end up seeing the price continue to struggle around this resistance, at least in the short term here, possibly even see a slight rejection from this resistance, but ultimately the shorter term trend is still looking bullish, as we've seen just here and just here, for example, and also back here, for example. These were all short-term bullish trends that occurred within a larger bearish trend, as we can see here. And so that is the situation right now. We're still looking bullish, as I've been saying here in the short term, but technically speaking, we have not necessarily reversed the larger trend on the larger time frames, and we're now running into this major area of resistance, so look out for that. And as for support, if we actually see some sort of rejection here, I would expect a small amount of support at around 59,500, give or take, based on this volume profile indicator right here, and also previous resistance now acting as new support. And of course, below that area, we do have this major area of support in between around 56 to 57,000. But if we end up seeing a further breakout, confirming a breakout back above around 61.2k, then in that case, the next resistance to the upside based on the volume profile indicator, we do have a small amount of resistance at around 63,000. But above that, we have a major area of resistance at roughly around 64,500. And so those are the areas of support and resistance that I'm currently paying attention to on this Bitcoin chart right here. And if we're zooming into the shorter term, looking at the 3-hour time frame, obviously over the last one day, we basically invalidated that bearish divergence pretty quickly. Now, to be honest, I was expecting this to play out potentially over one full day before then continuing the bullish trend further to the upside. So obviously we did not play out the bearish divergence as long as what I thought we would, but ultimately we did continue the bullish trend as expected. It just happened a little bit sooner than what I was expecting. But essentially, in case you're new to all of this, the moment the RSI starts breaking out above this descending line of resistance and starts forming higher highs above these previous highs here in the RSI, those are invalidation signals to invalidate the bearish divergence and basically pointing towards the continuation of the short-term bullish trend. But if we're taking a look at the 4-hour Bitcoin chart, what we are now seeing is the 4-hour Bitcoin RSI just entering into overbought territories for the first time since around mid to late August. And obviously what we saw back then was the price reaching a short-term high before a little bit more of a pullback later on, as we can see right here. But it is worth mentioning that this is not necessarily a trend reversal signal, because as we saw right here near the end of August, we saw an oversold signal confirm in the RSI, which if it were a trend reversal signal, we would have seen more of a bullish trend reversal right there. But obviously we did not see that. We saw a local low for a couple of days and a bit of a bullish relief, but ultimately we remained within more of a bearish trend. And so essentially an overbought signal is basically the opposite of an oversold signal, telling us that we're approaching some sort of local high or at a local high, and we're due to see possibly a bit of a pullback or at least a cool off, maybe in some sideways price action here. So just a cool off from the bullish price action, perhaps over around 1 or 2 days or so, like this oversold signal right here, but the opposite. And what that does is essentially reset the RSI back down towards more neutral levels, which can give us more room to the upside later on. And so considering the fact that the 4-hour Bitcoin RSI just confirmed an overbought signal at the same time as the price running into some major resistance right here, it is a very likely scenario that over the next couple of days potentially, or at least over the next one day, it's very likely that we're going to see a bit of a short-term cool-off, maybe in the form of a short-term pullback or at least some sideways price action, basically just a bit of a cool-off from all of this bullish price action in the short term. But remember, that does not necessarily mean the short-term bullish trend is over. And if you want to actually trade these moves in the price of Bitcoin or any other crypto, personally, I take most of my trades over on Bybit, so I'll make sure to leave a link to Bybit down below this video in the description and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link down below this video to make a Bybit account and deposit on that account, then you can get up to a $30,000 deposit bonus, but only if you use that link down below this video. And also, if you use that link, it'll take you to this page right here, which is a massive lucky draw happening right now over on Bybit, where you could potentially win win up to $100,000 just by trading crypto using the link down below this video. And so if you're going to be trading crypto anyway, you might as well check this out. Once again, first link down below this video. But for whatever reason, if you cannot access Bybit or if you cannot KYC on Bybit, there is Bitfinex, which is another crypto exchange similar to Bybit, but you don't need KYC for Bitfinex, which means if you're in the US or the UK, for example, or another country where you may not be able to access Bybit, you can access Bitfinex. I'll leave a link to Bitfinex down below this video, and if you use that link to make a Bitfinex account, you can get up to a 5.5k deposit bonus, and only if you use that link below this video, you can get an exclusive 10% discount on all trading fees on the Bitfinex exchange forever if you actually use that link down below this video to make your Bitfinex account. And so as another option out there other than Bybit, once again, there's Bitfinex, links down below if you want to claim those extra bonuses. But with that being said, taking a quick look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, and over the last one day, we saw a bit of a short squeeze as the price did take out a major area of liquidity, which was sitting in between around 58.6k to close to 59,000. And I explained in my last video here on the channel before the move actually happened, I said it's very likely that very soon we're going to take out that liquidity with another bullish move here, wiping out those positions, going all the way up to around 59,000. And of course, we did exactly that. We took out that major area of liquidity, and as the price liquidated those short positions right here, obviously that sent the price further to the upside just in the short term. And so now that we've taken out that area of liquidity, what are the levels to watch out for right now on this liquidation heat map? And well, first of all, we don't really have any major areas of liquidity to look at just in the short term here, but we do have a small amount of liquidity still above the current price, sitting at around 60.7k to around 61.1k, so basically right around this resistance. But other than that, we don't really have a lot of liquidity to either direction just in the short term. And remember, that area is only a relatively small amount of liquidity, so I don't necessarily expect the price to go straight up towards that level and basically disregard this overbought signal. So still remember that this is in play, at least as of right now. And with that being said, taking a look at Ethereum on the 3-day time frame, right now we're still holding above this major area of support in between 2150 to 2.2k, and in fact we're perfectly bouncing from that area of support, which is something that I've been talking about over the last couple of weeks or so. So technically speaking, even though we're still within the larger bearish trend because we've not yet reversed the lower high, lower low price structure, as I've already been saying for a while now, just recently here on the channel, I do expect the price to continue to hold above this area, considering it is major support. And not only are we bouncing from this major area of support on this time frame right here, we're also still playing out this bullish divergence on the daily time frame, which is also something that I've been talking about every day over the last 1 week or so. And so far over the last 1 week, it's been playing out exactly as expected, mostly in the form of a short-term bullish relief. And so as I've been saying over the last 1 week or so, this usually plays out in the form of a short-term bullish relief, or at least some choppy sideways price action as the most likely outcomes from a bullish divergence. And usually a bullish divergence on the daily time frame plays out over at least a couple of weeks before it starts to lose relevance. And with that being said, taking a look at the 12-hour time frame, we're also still playing out that previous oversold signal here in the 12-hour Ethereum RSI, basically perfectly, as I've been saying over the last 1 week, because like I said around a week ago, I do expect a bit of a short-term bullish relief as the most likely outcome based on all of these previous oversold signals that have confirmed here on the 12-hour time frame. But this, once again, is not necessarily a bullish trend reversal signal. As we could see here, all of these previous times, we remained within the larger bearish trend, but in the shorter term, over the following days or weeks after this signal confirmed, we did see a bullish relief almost every time after this signal confirmed, and that's what's playing out right now in the short term and could continue to play out potentially over the next week or so. And if we're zooming further into the short term, looking at the 3-hour time frame, this breakout right here played out perfectly. The moment we saw an exact breakout above this line of resistance sitting at around 2360 to 2370, the moment we broke out above that resistance right there, we activated this bullish price target, which I explained in my last video, sitting at around 2460, and the price basically perfectly went almost straight to the upside to that exact level and just a couple of dollars above my exact bullish price target before then pulling back here in the short term. And obviously, if you watched my last video here on the channel, you would know about a full trading strategy, which I explained from start to finish based on this breakout trading opportunity right here. And I said basically, if we break below support, that would activate a bearish price target. If we break above resistance, that would activate this bullish price target. And so obviously, the moment we broke out above resistance, that was the signal right there. Or if you even waited for this candle close right here and enter the position a bit later, that was the signal right there to enter a long position and basically trade towards the price target and then close or take profits at the price target. And that's exactly what I did over the last one day. I put my money where my mouth was. I wasn't just talking BS in my last video. I did actually trade this move right here, as you can see on screen, and made an easy 30% profits. Guys, this is easy money right here, and I laid it out very transparently before it happened in my last video. And so this is why it is important to subscribe to this channel with notifications turned on so that you don't miss out on any of these important update videos where I'm sharing these trading opportunities from time to time where you could potentially make some quick and easy money, as I've done right here over on Bitget, by the way, links down below. But as of right now, I am indeed completely out of that long position because I was simply just trading this breakout right here to the price target, and right around the price target, very close to 24.60, I exited that trade, as you can see on screen. And with that being said, taking a look at the price of Solana on the daily time frame, and right now the price is still actively playing out this bullish divergence as expected. Like I've been saying over the last 1 week, we should be expecting a slight bullish relief or at least some choppy sideways price action, so a break or relief from the bearish price action here. So this is still playing out and could continue to play out at least over the next week or so. But it's worth pointing out that right now the price is once again running into this major area of resistance, sitting in between around 138 to 143. So do expect the price to potentially struggle in this area right here. But if we can finally see a confirmed breakout back above 143 with a daily candle close, for example, back above that area, and ideally confirming that area as new support, then in that case, that would be a very bullish signal here in the short term if that first happens. And so that would result in more of a bullish trend starting to play out over the following days and weeks if we can actually break out above this resistance. And in that case, the next major resistance to the upside to watch out for is sitting in between around 159 to 163 if we can first break out above around 143 with confirmation. And as for support, we still have this major area of support right here in between 120 to 128 in case we were to see another rejection from this area of resistance. But either way, if you want to trade these moves in the price of any crypto, once again, check out those links down below this video to claim those extra bonuses. And if you want to actually know how to trade crypto, no matter if the price is bullish, bearish, or chopping around sideways, then make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can profit from bullish or bearish price action using long positions or short positions, and the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.